How to use all of the drawing tools in TradingView. By the end of this video, we'll be experts in using these drawing tools to predict prices or to otherwise analyze our charts. So the first thing we can do is come up to the asset that we want to chart. I've got Bitcoin here as an example. If you haven't got TradingView yet, I'll link them in the description. It is free to use. There is a pro version. You can get a discount by that link as well. But come to the chart, and the first thing we need to know is we can manipulate this chart in any way that we want. So down here, if you just scroll over the price scale, down at the bottom you should see A and L. If you click between L on and off, that chooses logarithmic versus just a normal price scale. If you're trading, just choose the normal price scale. If you're charting over long-term trends, you might want to use the logarithmic price scale and just have that on. We'll go for normal here. We also have this A. If you click this on, this fits data to the screen. So when you scroll, it's actually going to zoom in and fit all of that data to the screen. I don't really like this, so what I'm going to do is just turn that off. And if the price scale doesn't move, you can just manipulate the price scale here if you want. And then as you zoom in, you can manipulate the price scale manually in any way that you want. We can firstly come to the cursor tool. This is the thing that you can see which actually tracks exactly where you are pointing. So top left cursor, we can change this to a dot instead of a cross if we want, or even an arrow itself. And then in here, if you want to erase any of the drawings that you make, you can do that manually via the eraser tool right here and erase bits of them. We're going to go to cross here though, as this is the standard. We can also change this in the settings, chart settings here, go to canvas and then crosshair. Crosshair, you can now change the color, so we'll go to yellow. That changes the dotted line, as you can see. You can change from a dotted line to a thick, actual line right here without any dots. We're going to go to dashed and then back to the gray color and click OK. And that brings us back to the cursor tool here. Before making any drawings in TradingView, we should know that the way that we actually place drawings on the chart can be manipulated as well. And that is via these icons down here. So just as an example, I will show you just drawing a line. At the moment, we don't have any of these on. So whenever I click, that is when you start a drawing, and then you click again to end the drawing. In this case, just a line like this. Now we can also choose these features here, which is magnet, either weak or strong. This means that when you start the drawing, it's going to be drawn to the actual price chart on the screen. So we're going to go for a weak magnet here, and then we're going to choose to draw something. And as you can see, because I'm far away from the price, I still have essentially a free drawing tool. As I get closer to the price, you can see that now, because I'm close to the price, I'm actually sticking to the price itself. So when you draw the first point of the trend line, it's going to stick to the price. As long as my cursor is near the price, it's going to act as a magnet. If I draw it a certain amount away, it's going to not have that magnet anymore and I can free draw again. This just makes drawing lines and other trends much more accurate if you want to stick to the actual price like this. We can also change to a strong magnet, which means that our trend line would always stick to the price no matter where it is on the chart, as you can see. So you can use magnets to be a lot more accurate with actually placing those trend lines. As you can see here, stay in drawing mode. So again, we haven't clicked it on. We click a drawing on and off, and then we're in free mode again, where we have to then click again to draw a secondary line. If we just click on the screen here, it doesn't do anything. So staying in drawing mode, if we click this on, what this does is never resets. So you click to start, you click to end. Now I click to start, I click to end, start, end, start, end. So it never comes out of drawing mode and you can keep drawing. If you want to just click that off, then you're in free mode again, as you can see here. We can also lock all of the drawing tools. So for right now, if you want to manipulate any drawing that you make, just hover over and click that drawing tool and it becomes editable, right? So we can edit it around, we can manipulate it, we can move it, as you can see. If you lock all of the drawing tools, now you can't touch them. So even if you click on one, you won't be able to edit it in any way. You can't move it around, you can't draw it, you can't do anything with it apart from seeing it on the chart. And if you click on it, you can see the price and date down here, but you can't manipulate them. If you want to turn off all of your drawing tools, then you can just hide all drawings like this. Now that's better than deleting them. You can of course delete them very easily just down here, but if you actually just want to see the chart without any drawings for a while, but then later bring them all back, you can obviously just make them invisible and then turn them back on again. So all drawing tools can be manipulated down here in the way that you want. Now we'll look at drawing trend lines and all the ways that we can manipulate the trend lines and how they work on the chart. So if you want to delete anything, right click. You can either remove drawings down here, and that removes them all, literally deletes them, or you can come down here to the icon, click this, remove drawings and or indicators. So I'm going to remove all drawings right here, and then we'll get into drawing a trend line on the chart. Now, if you want to know more about drawing trend lines, trading, and how to try and predict prices with trend lines, check the link in the description to the Crypto Investor course. There's a lot more videos there. I'll also leave a bunch of free videos on trading and drawing trends and technical analysis down in the description as well if you're looking for that. So firstly, we're going to look at trend lines. So it's this one here. Now, if you click this drop-down box, you can see lots of different trend lines. We'll click the trend line to begin with. So what we want to do is draw a specific trend on the chart. So we start from one area. We're going to toggle this off, start from one area, and then we go to another. Now, if you click on the trend line itself, you can manipulate it in many different ways, which is this toggle up here. So firstly, come here, change the opacity of the line and change the color settings. You can change the thickness of the line. We can change it from a line to a dashed line to a dotted line, whichever that you want. And then we also have an alert right here. So we're going to click add alert. Now what this does is allow us to have an alert within the TradingView system, which is over here on the right. You can see these alerts that you set up when the price breaks one of your trend lines. So you can see the condition is we're on Bitcoin here, which is the asset that we're looking at. What do we want it to do? We want to cross. Do we want to cross above or below? We can see we've drawn a trend line here, which is below the price. So this would be a support trend line because the price is above. So you're looking at support here. So maybe you'd look, I want an alert if the price crosses down through this support line. And then what's the trigger? Only once or once per bar close, which is where the the bar actually has to close. Once per bar, you can set that up for yourself. And then alert name is, selling off because it would be selling through the support level. Click create, and that will create an alert for you within your alerts tab. So if you click it again, you can see we have the alerts tab here. If we click this, we can see the alert. We can cancel it or delete that. We're just going to delete the alert here and then no alert right here. From here, we can draw new trend lines on the chart easily, or what you can do is actually copy an existing trend line. So if you click and highlight this, the three dots right here is clone or copy. This would be copy, and then you would have to Command V for me, paste on your keyboard shortcut right here. You can also clone it, which is copy paste just in one click, which is a copy paste of the exact same trend line, and that has the same angle, which is often good for drawing trend channels. From here, we can manipulate the settings of each individual trend line. So if we click on the trend line and then go to the settings, that's different from the main settings up here, which is more of a top level settings of the entire TradingView platform. For here, this is settings of that individual trend line. So if you want to draw a trend line quickly and then manipulate it, you can. You don't have to draw a new trend line. What I mean by this is extend the line to the left and the right. So if you've drawn a specific trend line and then you want to say, hey, actually, how does this trend line move forward? You can do that. You can put a midpoint on the trend line, which is a small dot right in the middle. You can put price labels on here. That changes right here. So the trend line has gone from the lower to the upper price level, and it puts that on to show you on the right hand side. You can have the percentage change in price or price range that gives you from the bottom to the top of that trend line. And some other things that you can have a look at here. So dates or bar range gets a bit noisy, but you can put that information on the trend line. You can also put text onto the trend line. So click this on, text. And then you can have it in the middle here. You can put it to the left-hand corner or the right-hand corner, and then the alignment either top or bottom. Why would you want to do that? Maybe you can just label the trend line, right? So this is resistance. So you can see that here, this would be resistance. And then down here, you could put, support. So you can label everything, you can get all that information on the trend line, and you can make some really good looking and informative charts just using this. We can also save templates for different types of drawing. Now, whenever you make a change within TradingView, TradingView is going to keep that change. You don't have to save it. So if you've changed the trend line to yellow, the next time you draw a trend line, it will know that you want to draw a yellow trend line, and you can, of course, just put it back to the other color that you want. You can also just edit undo on your keyboard, just like anything else, and you can undo or redo your changes. But what I mean by templates is that you can set up different template guides. For example, we have resistance here, and we have a support level here. I haven't drawn it accurately, but you get it. So what we're going to do is put a red line as resistance, and we'll keep the bottom line as support in white. Red for resistance. Now what we're going to do here is go to this option and then click Save Drawing Template As resistance like this. So now whenever we draw a trend line, let's say we just go for a resistance level, we know that we can set it as a resistance level. So let's say I change it to a different color, and it's, white or something else. I can say, actually, I want this to be my resistance line right here. So I'm just going to click on it and make sure that we go to resistance, and it's going to put it right into resistance. So it's very good to have some templates there, resistance, support, other types of drawings that you do regularly. You can just have them right here as your default templates. TradingView also has an object tree, which is where we can see all of our drawings at once, and we can manipulate them from this list. So on the right hand side, you can see object tree here. So click this, we can see the trend lines that we've drawn. Now each time we draw a different trend line on the chart, you should be able to see that it's drawing this up here and showing us exactly what that trend line is, or other drawings we put on. You can see them all here. So what we can do is manipulate them. We can bring some to the front and bring some to the back very easily, or we can group them. So let's say we have a group here. I'll just delete the rectangle that I've drawn. We're going to have a group of 3 lines here that we've drawn. So it's these 3. So click this, just going to press shift and select these. That's group 1. And then these are group 2. Then you can manipulate these around. So you can drag this up to the top if you want to be up here. You can also select the trend line individually. So you can turn it on and off individually. You can turn the group on and off individually. Or you can actually drag the trend line out. So if you want to move it to a different group, just highlight, drag it up to either a different group, or you can just drag it up to the top, and then it's outside of a group at all, and group 2 is now gone. So what we can do here from group 1 is delete all of it or turn them off. We can also manipulate each single one. So if we click on the trend, we can see which trend line that we're actually manipulating. Something else that's good here is, for example, if you have a drawing, seems like this red line is probably below that. So you can make sure that that red line, wherever it is, which is this one here, you can right click and then go to visual order. You can bring it to the front or bring it backwards, depending on which one you want to see, so it doesn't get hidden. For each drawing tool in TradingView, we can click the drop down box for way more options. So on trend line, we're going to click this, and we just get easier ways to draw things. So horizontal line, this is how you can draw support and resistance very easily on the chart. Just draws a line from left to right, from infinite time, from the start to infinity. We can draw another one for a support level right here, and then you can manipulate the colors. We also have rays and other types of channels. So a vertical line, a cross line. As you can see, you can manipulate these any way that you want, fairly self-explanatory. We also have parallel channels, which are pretty good. So what you can do is draw this channel. So we're going to draw a channel from a starting point to an ending point like this, and then it's going to allow us to draw a horizontal channel right there. So that gives us more of a trend channel. So when you are drawing those, you don't have to free draw them. You can literally draw that channel from from one area where it's the bottom or support, from another area which may be resistance like this, and then it's going to give you a midpoint and a perfectly parallel channel for some more technical analysis. So there's everything you can do with these trend lines and regression channels right here. Very easy to put on the chart. Now anything that you want to manipulate, you can do. So let's do this. We can go to the settings here, change the colors. You can change the fill as well to give you some of that. Again, alerts if it breaks the channel. So you can do that with all of the different drawings with these trend lines and channels. TradingView has a Fibonacci retracement tool all by itself. If we click the drop down here, lots of different ways to use Fibonacci retracements to draw on the chart. I'll just show you the main fib retracement level here. So click this. We're going to draw the fib on from a low point to a high point. So I'm just going to press Command on my computer, which is a Mac. You can see it brings up the magnet here. So we're going to draw a a period from the low to the high point in a market phase, which is this. Now this looks, pretty gross for right now, but what we're seeing is the fib levels, right? The 0 level, then seeing an impulse to a high, and then the fib levels are where's it going to draw back to before maybe finding support. If you want to know more about Fibonacci's, I will leave a free Fibonacci video in the description. It's a course on using Fibonacci's. I also have trading strategies in the crypto investor course, which I'll link below as well. But what we can do here is manipulate this. So click on the tool itself, go to the settings here. You can manipulate the color. Now, if you press this, it just brings the entire thing into the same color, which probably isn't good. So what we need to do is go to settings here, and you can see style. Each and every piece of part of the Fibonacci you can manipulate. So you can actually turn them off like this. Now, what we're going to do is turn off all of the less important parts of the Fibonacci retracement, and I'll just show you the more important parts that traders will look at, which are these Fibonacci retracement levels. And you can see these on the chart here. Now, you can change all of this, right? You can change the lines again if you want, the trend line from a line to a dashed line, line levels. You can, change the opacity and everything. That looks a little bit better for me, right? A little bit cleaner. So we're going to go to OK right there. And now you can see the important fib levels where traders may want to take positions. So you can see that we had an impulse, and then fib trading would be looking at important levels where you may get pullbacks. So it pulled back to the first level, second level, went to the third level, and then bounced from there. So there would be areas to trade. So you can draw Fibonacci very easily on here, and it's actually a very good tool. Like I said, I'll leave extra videos on how to trade with that down in the description. But the fib level here, there are very strange ones, so fib circles and levels. These get a little bit weird. I don't know if they're useful or not. You can check them out, and if you want to find strategies trading with those, you can. But Fibonacci, just the main level, is very good, and it actually can be very helpful. Just change around the settings to make it super clear. We can use the free drawing tools as well for perfect analysis of all of the different charts. So I'll show you this here. The brush tool is what most people use just to annotate things. So for me a lot, I'll highlight something, take it away, highlight, take it away, just by pressing undo on the keyboard like this. If you're presenting, that's very good. What we can do also is the rectangle here, which I often use for support and resistance levels. So you can see one here, there's a resistance level here. So it's not exactly the same price. So what I'm going to do is just highlight this and drag it around. This is a resistance area rather than a line. So what we can do here is put some text in. So we're going to go to settings, go to text, major resistance, and then have that on the, we'll have that on the right hand side. And then the style, if you just want to change the color, red for resistance, but if it's green, for support, you can come down to background, change the opacity right here. That we're going to change that to green if it was support, but red for resistance is fine for us. Red here. This will all be saved. You can just press OK, and then we have a major resistance level right here. We can go to the setting on the horizontal line, get a support level right here, and now we have a support level and a major resistance level that we could go ahead and trade. Now from here as well, you can also draw anything else. So I use circles sometimes to highlight areas where prices have got to. So this is an area where we got rejected from. Copy paste, and we rejected from there as well. Copy paste, looks like we're going into that as well. So there's many ways you can kind of use drawing tools to highlight the thing that you actually are looking at, right? So is price bouncing off a level? What's actually happening, and how do you want to use these tools to highlight that, whether you're looking at it or whether you're giving it to someone else? You can draw curves here as well. So I often draw curves for longer term trends to see if they're speeding up or slowing down. Once, twice, and then you can manipulate the midpoint here any way that you want to see, is that trend slowing down or speeding up, and manipulate the colors any way that you want. Just undo them, or you can see all of them here in the object tree as well. If you want to make notes on the chart, that's in the text tools. So T right here, and you can draw these on. So you can put text on. So we're going to click on the chart and put, this is text. Now that's text. So if you press OK, that's on the chart here. And as you move it around, it doesn't move from where you placed it on the chart. You can move the text around, and it uses the date that you put it on right here as its anchor. So you move the chart and it doesn't move. You can also have anchored text. So if we click that right here, and then we put, this is anchor text, press OK. Now when you move, it doesn't use the chart, it just uses where you put it on the screen before, so it doesn't move. So both are options. This one's probably a little bit less useful, but you can, use it as you want. Now you can see comments and call outs are virtually the same thing, just a little bit of a different design right here. You can also add tweets, ideas, and images. Now images, if you click this, you can just drag an image into here and it's going to load it onto the chart. You might have also seen people actually add tweets to TradingView. So if you do use Twitter or X, you can come down to this option here, so the drag down, and then tweet. So if you go to Twitter, you can get the URL for a tweet, copy it and paste it in here, and then it's going to give you the tweet. So that will come up as a box here, the design, and it will have the tweet, and it will show you the exact timestamp of when the tweet was made and put a little line down here onto where it is. So for example, everyone quotes Jim Cramer, where, right down here, he said, Bitcoin's going to zero, I hate it. And that, right, and then it just went up. So people use that. Now for me, it's not working right now. I think Twitter have basically made their API so expensive that TradingView may not be using it anymore. So I can't use it for right now, but you can check if you can use it when you're watching this. We can also use the pattern tools on TradingView. Drawing most of these patterns is not really great. In my opinion, I don't really use these a lot. However, if you use Elliott waves or Elliott impulses, and a lot of people trade with that, it's right here. And you can draw different patterns here. So head and shoulders, a lot of people will try and look at this for charting. Draw head and shoulders. So we draw the left shoulder first. We draw the the head right here, and then we draw the right shoulder. So if you are breaking down here, then obviously you'd be looking as this is a bearish pattern, a breakdown. As you can see, the price has broken through it, and so that's a failed pattern right here. Because it's breaking through to the upside. So if you use head and shoulders, you can very easily draw them on. You can draw different, Elliott wave impulses, right? 1, 2, 3. So try and draw this on, like this, however it's moving and you want to trade it. But you can draw those on very easily. And of course, just toggle it off if you don't want it there as well. But these are how to draw those patterns. Now, something with patterns as well is that you might just want to free draw patterns. So that would be a path. So if we click the path here, you can draw the highs and lows during this pattern, right? And you can just keep going. So that's more of a free drawing pattern. And if you want to stop drawing, just double click on the last pattern right here that you drew, and it should complete that for you. So that's more of a freehand pattern tool. Much more useful for trading is the projections tool, and I use this one a lot. So on the left-hand side, it's this one. So click this out. Long positions and short positions. If you want to take a long position, click this. And let's say we've done our analysis here. So we have a major resistance and we were coming into support. So you want to take up a position long at support, for example, or when it just breaks out of that support. So click this. Now on the right-hand side, what you can see is perfect price levels and a position tool that gives us profit and loss levels. So this would be a stop loss if you had that in place. So let's say we place our stop loss around here underneath the support level, and that is our entry right here. So our entry, you can see on the right hand side, is 25,885. The stop loss level, which is this level down here, would be this red, and then the green would be a take profit. Now you don't have to trade like that, of course, but it shows you potentially what a trade would be if you were going to enter a trade, right? So we have the entry level here, and as you can see, this would be different depending on what's happening with the price. So it's going to work out exactly what your profit and loss level is. You can see the open position risk reward ratio is the difference between the stop loss price and your potential take profit price, wherever that may be. So that will move as you move it, right? So if we move the stop loss down, the risk reward gets worse because it thinks that that's where our stop loss would be, a potential loss, right? So we can change this around, but you can see what a potential position would actually make you. So you can see, is that worth it? Is 21% viable or is it not viable to make that position? So that's for a long position, right? Your entry, stop loss, and a take profit. It's the exact opposite for a short position. So you would enter here. Let's say we're selling, going short. Then the stop loss is above because obviously we'd lose if the price went up, and the potential take profit would be wherever you place it here. But you can see the price levels on the chart, and then you can use that for entering trades on your trading system. If you do trade crypto, I'll link the exchanges I use down below. You can get trading and deposit bonuses on them, really good ones as well. So you can check the links below for that. But we have many different types of forecasting and projection tools. So we'll look at let's say a forecast here. So, as we can see, if it moves from this level to here, what is the price move, right? It's a 20% price move in 65 days. So it just works out, that for you and shows you exactly what that is. Now, what you can also do very simply is just press Shift on your keyboard and then click an area, and it's going to have a measurement tool for you. You can see in the left-hand corner, you see this measurement tool is now clicked on. You can click it or you can just press Shift. This is going to work out time and price differences for you. So, you can see this price movement took 64 bars, which were on the day chart. So 64 days, the price movement was around 20%. You can see that here. You can click once to have that, click again to get rid of it. But it's good to measure. That's the measurement tool, which I use a lot. You can forecast that yourself as well. Now what we can do here is date and price range. So click this. Now this stays on the chart because this is not the measurement tool, but this is just essentially a measurement that's showing you exactly, what the price and price movement and time movement has been, but it's not the measurement tool, so it just stays on there, and you can of course delete it as well. We also have price and range. So price is just price like this, and the range right here is across. Now you can see I've drawn green here. What I do with longer term analysis on my charts is draw potential cycles, for example, the Bitcoin cycle. And so I will draw these, as areas where the price has risen, and you can draw exactly the same thing. So copy, paste, do this. And what we want actually is the price range, start high, go low. You can see the arrow is different. Change this to red. And, so that's an upswing and a downswing. So again, manipulate it exactly how you want to show you, how the price can move over time. Within this drawing tool, there are some really good options for some more advanced analysis. I believe these are part of the paid version only. You may not get these if you're on the free version, so depends if you want to use them or not. Like I said, if you click the link below, you can get a discount on Pro, but you may not need Pro, to be honest. For most of the users out there, you probably don't need it. But as we can see, anchored VWAP, fixed range volume, and anchored volume. I'm going to click on anchored volume here. Now what I'm going to do is just search for an area on the chart that I want to analyze going forward. So I'm going to click this, and it's going to show me from that point onwards on the right hand side, this is where the volume has traded, right? So what we're looking at now is for each price level, where has the most volume traded? And we can see that the volume has traded quite well around this price here, which is 26,000. So a lot of volume traded there. And we're also getting a lot of volume trading up here around 30 as well. What I can analyze by this is that this price level is obviously a big resistance, because we can see as we come into the price level and get rejected, there is a lot of trade around here. So that means that buyers are trying to actually push this up through resistance, but there's a lot of sellers here as well. So we're seeing the price level actually get manipulated down from these levels. Because it's a resistance level, the volume being traded here also shows us that this 30K is a very important level for Bitcoin on this chart. And around here, there's obviously a lot of traders that are willing to buy because that's where the volume is. You can see around here, less volume. So the trading range is 25 to 30. Both from what we can see on the price chart, the volume is telling us that as well. Really, really good for traders to know this. So you can get that via the volume-based analytics right in here. We can use the drawing tools on TradingView for every type of analysis. Short-term trading, support and resistance, price levels, also very long-term secular trends we can analyze as well. So what you can see here is my Bitcoin long-term trend analysis. I'm using a lot of price ranges for expansions, drawdowns, consolidations. I'm using curved lines very simply for regression lines and channels, as you can see. You can do everything you want. So as an example here as well, we have cyclic lines, which is essentially date ranges out into the future. So I'm going to start the first one right here and then bring it forward to this one. What have I just done? These are the Bitcoin halvings. So I've drawn them on myself, as you can see here, of actually when they are. And then this would be patterns in between. Now the Bitcoin halvings aren't exactly 4 years apart. It depends on hash rate, but you can get a good idea of that's when the halvings were, and the halvings that come into the future, you know exactly where they're going to be. You can use this for all types of charting, analysis into the future, time and price based. There's really, you know, everything to do on there. If you want TradingView Pro and a discount on there, check the link below. Trading discounts below as well, and my crypto investor course, which goes through specific trading, how to take risk, how to enter positions, 300 videos in there, so you can check that all down in the description. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.